Men's Extra Time weekly podcast. We're back to talk about all things English footy. With us this week is Kurt Hunt. How you doing, Kurt?
I'm doing all right. My Twitter name is @KSCFC.
Okay. Also, after quite a long hiatus, we have Faz back with us. How are you doing, Faz? And welcome back.
Thanks, I'm pretty glad to be back. Don't forget to follow my majestical Twitter, which is Shabby Downey Jr.
Okay. And also the always lovely Miss Louise. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very, very well. And you can follow me on Twitter at Miss Louise K.
Okay. Well, let's get this rolling. We did have some FA Cup games today. Kurt, why don't you tell us about your squad?
Well, when I seen the lineup, when I seen the two lineups, in fact, Bolton were playing a fairly weakened squad to what they'd usually play, and us, who are a league up from Bolton, we were playing a fairly strong squad. We had Connor Wickham starting up front, followed by Stefan Sessegnon, Adam Johnson, and James McLean tracing each wing. And I didn't really know what was going on in their heads. I'm just completely stumped. We should have won, but we didn't. It was just one of those typical Sunderland performances where, we go out there and we just get completely torn apart by the opposition defence. We couldn't create anything, we couldn't get any balls into the box, we couldn't really run down the wing because we were just being stumped everywhere we tried to run to, and Bolton just completely outclassed us from start to finish. And I'd like to see Bolton have quite a good cup run now, because from what I've seen today, they really deserve it. And I've got nothing against Bolton, very good side, and obviously I'm feeling a bit better after tonight's defeat, but what can I do about it? We were just completely outclassed from start to finish, and we didn't deserve to win it.
Well, I will say this. Bolton may not create a lot going forward, but they seem to always have a very stubborn defense, at least from my observation. And, as far as going forward in the Cup, let's hope that Manchester team does something rather than the other two. Anyway. Yeah. Quiet, you. Faz, I'll preface this before I let you tell us about what Liverpool did this weekend. I think Daniel Sturridge was a brilliant buy for you guys. I think he's going to perform incredibly well for you. I think that may be one of the components that y'all were lacking, and I think he's really going to shine for you guys. The more time he plays, I think the better he will get. I think he's very underrated. Anyway.
Oh, thanks for that. Well, to be honest, I think it's all in the name because, I didn't name my brother Daniel for a reason. but no, absolutely. He has been an absolute top signing. He's just been absolute class so far, and the rate he's performing, he's only going to get better. And quite frankly, he's the kind of quality we need right now, because we are just an English Premier League yo-yo at the moment, and that needs to stop.
What is your board doing? It seems like, with the exception of Sturridge and a couple of others over the past few years, it seems like your board and whoever happens to be in charge that week sees a big name and buys, a la Man City or the Chops. And that just is not Liverpool as we know Liverpool. Liverpool usually seems to me, love them or hate them, I hate them.
Of course you do.
Seems to be very methodical and have some sense about who they buy. But, getting that filthy pikey and trade away Torres, just moves like that we've seen, well, not of immediate late, but, over the past couple of years just doesn't make sense to me for that club. You have any thoughts on stuff like that?
At least we're not run by John Terry, so I suppose that's a plus, but...
Well, right.
But absolutely. I think the board does play such a huge role, and the fact that the turmoil that we've been through with them over the past couple of years and the change of owners and all of that, it does take time to kind of build up this whole new, not strategy, but whatever you want to call it. And it does take time. You can't just change attitudes and the way that the club is run in like a matter of minutes. I do think that John Henry and co are doing a great job, and without them, we probably would not be where we are now. I think it's that case of having a consistency within the team, running from the team all the way up to the board and vice versa. And I think we are going to start to see that, because if we can keep on Brendan Rodgers, then hopefully that's starting to maintain the consistency. And I mean, we got rid of all of Hodgson's signings, for God's sake. Clearly that says something.
Well, I think that goes to, and you others can chime in here if you choose. I think Hodgson and Rodgers have two very differing football philosophies. Not only that, I think what we're seeing with Arsenal to some degree, and Louise and I can get in on that in a moment, with Man United and Liverpool in particular having American owners. I think there's and I don't mean to talk bad on my own, but there's a great deal of misunderstanding of the game with Americans. And they come in and they try to run these storied English Premier teams like they're NFL teams or American baseball teams. The Premiership just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. Patience pays in the Premiership.
You can't say patience pays. Like, I'm an Arsenal fan. I've been waiting for a while. So.
Well, right. Well, there's some other, Louise, you and I can get into that in a minute, because there's some other stuff going on there that I think should be aired. But I think yes, you can go out and splash the cash and buy the quality. But if you're looking purely on name, that doesn't work. And I think where Hodgson was looking on name appeal, as was Dalglish to a degree. I think Rodgers is much like Ferguson in the way of, okay, they have a name, that's great, but are they quality? Will they fit into my squad and the system I run? And I think that's where I see a lot of Liverpool fans not giving Rodgers credit where credit is due. He's having to totally get these players that have been through a couple of different managers, to buy into his system, and then not only buy in, to understand and start to work it. And I think, as you saw against United Sunday, it's starting to work. I think it really is. I'm watching the replay right now, and they're not playing bad at all against the United team that's really starting to have their together. So I don't know. Faz, anything else to add?
No, I think you pretty much said it. Even though you might support Arsenal, I think what you've said definitely is true, and it's just about keeping our faith in Brendan and recognizing that the more managers you change, the more demoralizing it is for players, and obviously that's going to have an impact on them, because at the end of the day, they are still humans with emotions, and it does take time for everyone. So yeah, patience, not Arsenal patience is required, but
Shabing.
Okay, don't twist it. You already stuck it in. No need to twist it. Louise, let's hear your thoughts on Sunday's debacle.
Yeah, I watched it, and it's kind of, as soon as the red card and that, it was just game over. I knew we wasn't going to win it. I did in my predictions, I said that we was going to lose, and I hate, obviously, predicting Arsenal to lose, but we just not got the form to beat Man City. It's just not going to happen. I mean, we played well with 10 men, we did, give credit where credit's due, but still, there's just something missing. There's just something's been missing for ages, and I just don't think anything's going to change. We're in January transfer window, and I just don't think anything's going to happen. It's going to be another disappointing time for us, not signing anyone, not doing anything. So obviously we're waiting for, I don't think Walcott's signed yet either at Theo, so I don't know. It's a bit depressing being an Arsenal fan. Every weekend seems to get a little bit worse.
Yeah, to some degree, I'm gonna agree with you. I mean, what I saw was a very, I saw a lot on Twitter that, Dean hates us. No. Yes, it is. If you look at the record, one could easily come to the conclusion that Dean does, in fact, not like our side. That's fine. That still doesn't take away from the fact that Koscielny pulled a man down in the box. His arms were all the way around him, and he was 5 feet away from Dean. Now, Was the straight red and the kick possibly harsh? Yeah, one could see that. But if you go by the laws of the game, he was the last man and denied a goal scoring opportunity. That is a straight red if you go by the laws of the game. It's
only bad because it's a decision that goes against us.
Right.
It would have been going. It's just like any other fan. You don't like a decision if it's gonna make the game worse for you, which is what it did. So, but yeah, he did the right thing. He wasn't against us. It's not like Mike Dean hated us or anything like that. It's just a pretty crappy game.
Well, yeah, I've been saying this for a while. Everyone especially because of the RVP incident, everyone loves to hate on Andre Santos. I think Andre Santos is a quality player. I think we need to do with him what we did with Song, which is convert him into a defensive midfielder. That guy, Santos, he loves to play Indiana Jones and go on adventures upfield. I think we should put him in a position to where he can do that and it's not harming anything. He has a good leg on him and he has an eye for goal. His shots, if you go and watch film of him going back, he has an eye for goal. He puts his shots on target. Doesn't score, but regardless, he puts his shots on target. But more than that, I saw one man on that field Sunday playing for Arsenal that I could tell had the passion for the game on his face, and that was little Jackie Wilshere. He seems to be the only person
He's got a lot of passion, but he's going to end up in trouble on the pitch because it's a little bit too much, maybe. I don't know. He's good, I totally agree, but yeah.
Well, possibly. I mean, I just watched his face. He received the ball, and he popped a pass over, just floated a ball into the 18-yard box that everyone should have run on. There was 3 men ahead of him, and they all watched it go over their heads and then turned around and walked back. And the look on his face of just disgust that no one went after that ball, that right there showed me what's going on at the club. That none of the players out there truly have any belief. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're now beyond caring. They go, oh, well, the season's lost. Let's just get our paychecks. To where Wilshere is out there playing for the win every game.
Well, he said that when he signed, he's like, yeah, I'm signing for my club. He hasn't messed around like Walcott has or anything like that. He's just said he's like pledged his allegiance. It's kind of nice that he actually wants to be there and it's not for the money. And I hope he never becomes one of them players who eventually get brought by the agents and it's all about the money and things like that. I hope he stays with Arsenal and sticks it out. But it's difficult for him because there's people, the agents will be like, oh, you'll be able to get better money here, you'll be able to do this.
Right.
So I really hope he stays as passionate as what he is now.
Well, Wilshere doesn't have an agent, and that says a lot. He doesn't. He's playing in the wrong era, is what it is. Wilshere belonged in the 70s, 80s, maybe the early 90s, because that's the footballer mentality he has, not this modern game mentality.
I totally agree.
Well, all right, let's keep this moving. What do we think the most important stories in the Premier are going to be the second half of the season? Faz, we're going to start with you here.
Well, judging by my allegiance to my club, what has happened to Liverpool this season once again, because we're just so inconsistent, and the way we've been performing, obviously the impact Brendan Rodgers has had, just the general stuff, it's kind of becoming the same old story with us.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Rodgers going to get a chance, or are they going to shuffle him out the door if y'all finish 7th or 8th?
The thing is, I don't know anymore with the club. I'd like to say he would, because the way that they kind of played him up, and in the whole documentary they did about being Liverpool, etc., they've kind of given the impression that he is a long-term manager, and I would like him to be, because he seems to have put faith back in the players. He's made a good signing in Daniel Sturridge, and he has done to change the attitude of the players is something difficult, and he's come in at probably one of the most difficult times. And I would like to see him stick around longer, because I don't want us to be the next Chelsea. I don't want us to be changing managers every single season, half season or whatever. I want that consistency, because I think that's from where we can really start to build up.
Right, I would agree. Curdy, let's hear about the team. And I saw you switch seats in the Stadium of Light this weekend. Let's hear some about that controversy as well.
Well, you've heard about the whole stuff that's been going on at the Stadium of Light about people getting their season tickets suspended for standing.
Yeah.
And then, I decided to move seats completely at the Stadium of Light. I decided to move it to the South Stand, and it was honestly the best place in the Stadium of Light you can sit. It's just 90 minutes of standing and singing your heart out. And that got us to thinking, if you're gonna get ejected for standing, why don't you just do what I do and go sit in and change to the South Stand? Because honestly, that's where the standing and the atmosphere is. It's unbelievable, and I wouldn't say it's as good as the Fulwell end was at Roker Park. Nothing will ever be that good, but it's quite amazing in the South Stand. I'd recommend anyone to go sit there. Get a few scarves dotted out around the place, and we could make it the new Fulwell end.
Yeah.
What, like, as a supporter, you're not allowed to stand up? Are you serious?
Are they trying to make you put on weight or something?
That's ridiculous. That's totally insane.
It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. But like I says, if people are going to stand, they might as well go to the South Stand, because that's basically a standing area anyway.
Wasn't this? This is Dre Footy. Wasn't that a regulation that came in about the time that they made Stadium all-seater? I mean, isn't that a nationwide thing?
I think so.
I have no idea.
Oh, well.
Yeah, against modern football, it's all, I don't know, it's all going crazy. I don't understand a lot of it, to be honest.
Oh my God. Everybody
what's
okay?
Going on? Is there a riot? Is there a riot happening?
No, sorry, that's just my flatmate washing her dishes.
Ah.
Oh, I thought it was a bunch of hooligans.
Louise, what do you think we're going to see from Arsenal the rest of the season?
Honestly, not a lot. I'd like to be more positive. I'm just being a bit realistic. Like, we've got, is it like 7 games or something? I was just reading it earlier. We've got a lot of games in, it's like 7 games in so many days, 21 days or something like that. Like, we unnecessarily have got the Swansea replay tomorrow, which is things that we could do without, because we've got Chelsea on Sunday. I just don't really think, I just don't know. I hope we're top 4 again, but just nothing seems to be happening. All the fans are getting angry. We're not signing anyone. It's just the same old every year. It's just the same thing. So, I mean, I don't know. Spurs are like 6 points above us, is it? 6 or 7 points? Yeah, it's kind of, I don't see a lot of positivity at the minute, but we've got another 2 weeks. So, ask me again in February what I think.
Yeah, I mean, we hear all sorts of rumors, but I think the reality is, we probably won't. If we buy anyone, it'll be a youth player, unproven, basically pull the team along.
Yeah.
How distressing is it to be behind Spurs at this point?
Let's not talk about that. Yeah.
No, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Let's get it out there.
How distressing is it that Man United was
Hey, wait a minute now.
beaten out of the season by their crosstown rivals. Let's not go there.
Wait a minute.
We don't want to.
This is not about United. That's right.
Yeah, we
Well,
don't want to
I
talk
think.
about Tottenham
Yeah, okay. Well,
because it is distressing.
But wasn't we when? What part of last season was the 10-point gap? It was about this time, wasn't it? I can't remember, to be honest.
No, a little bit later in the season.
Well, yeah, there you go. See, we still can do it. Let's be positive. Clutch at some straws.
I think you
Oh,
will do it. I don't think
yeah,
Tottenham's going to last.
I
Oh
would never
no,
hear the end
They
of
will.
it.
They will do their yearly collapse soon enough.
they will. I mean, even if they do finish above us, that's 1 year out of how many? When was the last time they finished above us?
Yes,
So
not the point. It's not the point, though. Trust me.
I know it's not the point. It's not the point for me, but that's how I will console myself.
Yeah.
With Arsenal, there needs to be a change in philosophy. I don't know. I see all the fans going at each other's throats, which doesn't help anything. I've heard lots of reasons why.
I have sort of heard, just like obviously on the grapevine and stuff, because you never know who you're talking to, but just read someone on Twitter that the only reason why Walcott hasn't signed yet is he wants to make sure that he's in a certain position, like down the centre, I think it was they said.
Yeah.
And because he's not been, because they've not said, yeah, you'll definitely have that, he's kind of not signed. That's what I've heard. I've heard it's not about money and it literally just is about the position that he plays in, which I hope is true, and I don't understand why they haven't said, yeah, you can have it and sign him. But I'm not the board, so hey.
We've now come to the part of the show where we're going to look forward to the next week. We're going to start with Curdy here. Is Sunderland going to rebound from this disappointing cup replay?
Hopefully, I mean, we're away at Wigan this coming weekend. Hopefully, we can take the Barmy Army up there and get 3 points. Earlier on in the season, when we had Wigan at home, we beat them 1-0 to kickstart our season. So hopefully we can bounce back after our pretty depressing cup defeat tonight and get 3 points at the DW Stadium. And that's a game I'm really looking forward to, because last season we won it for DW. Not the DW, sorry, I have a DW. I'm really looking forward to see what happens, and we can put out a good squad. Hopefully we can put out a similar squad to the squad we fielded against West Ham. Keita Mangane, our new, I think he's a defender, 6'5", so hopefully he can come on in the final 20 minutes or so. Alfred Ndai, he looked rather impressive against West Ham when he came on in the final 10 minutes. He missed an easy shot, but other than that, he's looking quite pacey, and he's looking like he could be a good prospect in the future. But I'm not expecting too much from our game at Wigan, because it looks like we're heading towards a bit of a slope after tonight's match, because one match goes wrong and then that can just really shape the upcoming weeks, because tonight we just didn't play with any passion at all, and that's something that really needs to change against Wigan.
I mean, I can.
Well, Kurt, this is Dre Footy right quick. How does it feel, though? I know there's been a lot of disappointment, but you guys are a few points ahead of Newcastle, and Newcastle are very close to that drop zone. I mean, that's got to give your heart a little joy.
Yeah, it honestly does. I mean, we're 4 points ahead of a Scum at this point, and it's kind of one of those feelings where you really want it to happen, but it just feels like it could be a bit too much out of reach. But with Villa, Wigan, QPR also fighting too, I think the Scum have some fierce competition in the relegation drop zone area. It seems near, but it also seems quite far. And if they do go down, there'll be street parties, up here in Sunderland all summer. The Geordies really will go into hiding like they did a few years ago. And once again, we'll be the only North East team in the league. And I just really want the Scum to go down so much. And then, here in the North East, it's basically a league of two. Constant competition from us and the Scum. And it's not really about who finishes where, it's mainly about who finishes higher and who accomplishes more.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it's all about here. I mean, obviously, the league is important too, but we treat every match important. But, you know, April the 13th, mark your calendars. We're going to the Sports Direct Arena and we're going to give the Scum a proper kicking.
Yep.
I just want to see you walking around the Northeast up there with your chest puffed up high
Yeah.
after Newcastle go down. I got to see those pictures.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Faz, what games or otherwise are you looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, is Liverpool going to stay up?
Ha, very funny.
Wah, wah, wah.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to go dust my 5 European trophies. I'll be back in a long time.
Nice comeback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I don't think I get to watch anything this weekend unless it's being televised because I can't live stream here and I have Sky Go, but obviously that Sky doesn't show every match, so I'm kind of sad. So I have to rely on like Twitter and the radio to keep me updated on scores, and it sucks not having football in my life all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least you have terrestrial radio. I have to catch some of my games when they're available on XM. That means I sit in the car a lot. But good luck this weekend. Louise,
Yeah.
you have your weekly predictions podcast show.
Yep, I do.
Can we get a bit of a preview?
I haven't done them yet for this week, actually. Do it on a Wednesday or Thursday. I think I'll probably do it on Thursday this week. So, yeah, I haven't even looked at who's playing. Obviously, I know we're playing Chelsea, which I'm not very positive about, because obviously we've got our game tomorrow and another game. It's going to be a tough one. So, but I'm going to watch, I'm going up to North London anyway to watch the game, just in a pub nearby. So that's going to be really, really good if we win.
I hate to say it, but I'm not feeling real good about our match against the Chops. I'm not feeling real good about it at all, because we are not really dealing with physical play very well without fouling and getting cards.
Yeah.
And the Chops are physical all day long.
Yeah.
And I think I think the potential is there for them to really punish us if we're not firing on all available cylinders.
Yeah. I think it'll be another week of depressing football.
Yeah, I think it could get really ugly if we don't watch it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean, we're going to have Demba Ba running down our throats, which, you know, he's one of those guys, you got to give him the ball in the perfect position. But if he is in the perfect position and gets the ball, it's going in the net. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Exactly. We've got a decent few days.
I'm kind of with you. I just don't want Spurs to finish above us. Anything but that.
Yeah,
I'll take no European football over Spurs finishing above us.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, okay, gang. That's all the time we have for another week in English football talk. Remember, you can catch details on each of our shows by following us on Twitter at WFootie, FOOTIE net, or like us on our Facebook page. And thanks everyone for listening to us, and thank you for our guests to join us, and we'll talk to you next week.